This will be the largest federal investment in our conservation work.
The prime objective of that work is to develop a conservation corridor from Niagara to Tobermory, a stretch of about 900 kilometers.
So the funding is specifically for ecologically sensitive lands that have high ecological value. So they're productive ecological lands, they're forests, they're wetlands, and this is the type of critical landscape that we want to bring into the conservation corridor.
You know, we're talking about a 900-kilometer conservation corridor, but more than that, we're protecting land around some of the most urban, populated places in Ontario. And so the fact that we get to protect near urban nature, but also create a vehicle for people to explore it is really important.
The Bruce Trail Conservancy has been acquiring lands since 1970 and is now about 70% of the way to achieving its goal. This funding will help with the remaining 30%, some of which is owned by private landowners and some of which is at risk of development.
This last 30% really is spaced out across the whole Niagara Escarpment. So you will see big acquisitions in the peninsula section, and you'll see smaller pieces down south. Interestingly, the most biodiverse section of the trail is in the Niagara section. So very populated, but also an ecological powerhouse. So lands we preserve there are just as important as the big pieces we can preserve up north.
Once we acquire the land, we do a 3-season ecological inventory and put together a management plan for the property. And that's all aimed towards making resilient, diverse ecosystems. Biodiversity is really the key word that we use. We want more resilient, diverse systems that can withstand things like climate change.
One of the other aspects of biodiversity is controlling invasive species so they don't take over from native plant life. To that end, trail maintenance volunteers have installed boot brush stations in some places to control the spread of seeds. And that's just one of many projects.
We probably have about a dozen restoration projects on the go that are lined up for this coming spring. And, given the amount of this grant, that's probably going to be upped quite significantly. And we're ready for the challenge. We think it's going to be really important for the work that we do and for the conservation corridor that we're creating.
Raising $5 million is a lofty goal and a challenge, but it's also an opportunity for the organization.
I think one of the opportunities with this grant is that it will recognize that Bruce Trail is much more than a hiking organization, that we really are one of Canada's leading conservation organizations. And I hope that people learn about this opportunity and step forward to try and help us protect the Niagara Escarpment.
Donations can be made online at brucetrail.org. Jason Trout for Halton News in Burlington.